But I mean, there's still stuff then that doesn't make sense as well.
But even then, like, yeah, why would they rip open the tents? Why would they do the mutilations?
And even if there was a sudden boom outside, why would you think I'm not going to put my shoes on? You know what's out there.
Yeah,
You're not going to go out in your boxers.
People tend to sort of get dressed even in the worst scenarios. Like,
you know, if you walk out there, you're going to get you will die. Like, however long you're out there, even if you're out there for a moment, like you are not going to do well. But even being out there for like 10 seconds with no shoes on, it just doesn't make sense in any manner.
It doesn't. None of it makes sense at all.
This is the Kill Them with Comedy podcast, featuring true crime, amazing events, conspiracies, unsolved mysteries, and an array of weird and wonderful topics, all for your enjoyment. You're welcome.
And that proves that even people that you would trust with your life can, at some point, go fucking crazy.
At least you're doing the hustle, as they say.
This is one of my favourite. Ignore that.
No, you're not. You're listening.
I tried to ignore it because you were flashing your leg at the same time as well. I just need to ignore what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing.
This gorgeous fucking lump of man.
Lump of man. Fucking hell. No, this is the fucking gorgeous lump of man. What are you on about?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You've still got that there just to shock me.
I just saw it, yeah. I just saw it. They're all there still. But
oh, shit.
I think now then it's about time that we move on to the actual. What the fuck's the screen gone? What can I get back to you? There we go.
No.
Get onto the actual.
Getting into the meat of the situation.
I think we should get into the meat and two veg of the situation. This week's topic is it 1 hour.
Let's get into the banana hammock of the situation.
1 hour 13. Okay. So, I don't think I even mentioned to you what it was this time, did I?
I don't know.
I don't think I did. This is basically the kind of story that I love, where it kind of bleeds over true crime and conspiracy, depending on what your opinion is. It could be one of either, both. It's more of an unsolved mystery, basically.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, okay, I'm down for that. Let's fucking solve a mystery like Mike Tyson.
Got some of the basic ideas here. I've got some theories as well that people have put forward for it.
Yeah.
What's the actual way you spell it again? Not spell it, sorry, the actual pronunciation of it. I had it up here, but I've gone up it now. Okay, this is the story of the Dytalov Pass Incident.
Oh shit, Dytalov Pass. Yeah.
How'd you say this?
Dytalov Pass.
Dytalov. Okay. So I'm guessing you know a bit about this then.
I know about Dytalov Pass. It's terrifying. It's truly terrifying.
It's very fucking weird. If you remember any facts then afterwards, but obviously don't say anything until I get to them then. I give the initial overview. So the what was it again? Dytalov Pass Incident was an event in which 9 Russian hikers died. You know what? Whenever I need you to say it, I'm just going to point like that.
Okay.
So the
Dytalov
Pass Incident was an event in which 9 Russian hikers died in the northern Ural Mountains between the 1st and 2nd of February 1959 in uncertain circumstances.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to phrase that.
Uncertain circumstances.
Very much so. The experienced trekking group from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, which was led by Igor
Dytalov.
That was his last name. I had no sound until now, so I'm guessing that's where the name came from. I just naturally assumed it was the area or something to do with the area, but
I wasn't sure about that.
The camp was on the eastern slopes of Kholat Syakhl. Okay.
Big ass frozen mountain.
Big ass fucking frozen mountain. Big up my Kholat Syakhl's.
Yeah.
During the night.
To the mountain massive.
Actually, that's it of that bit anyway.
Yeah.
So it was not until that was the first and the second, and it was not until the 26th of the same month that rescue teams came across the hikers camp after the families bitched at them to go and find them. I think they paid them some money too. There's a lot of shit going on, and I thought it was quite quick though to go and find them for back then.
Well, yeah.
59, it's Russia, or they're off in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere. The amount of time it takes for the message to get there.
Hardcore communism as well. So it's like, but is he good worker? If he's not good worker, then why do I bother?
I suppose maybe that's why they were part of a college institute. And they were like, we've already spent all this money on them. We must go and get them. Our investment.
Why would we give money to proletariat?
But it's weird though. The actual the camp that they walked in on then was just very weird. Like I'll say exactly what it was, and then we could just talk about it more. So the tents when they walked up showed evidence of being cut open and being crushed in general as well a bit. More torn open, sorry. But they seem to have been done from the inside out. A lot of people say they don't understand how you could tell that, but I think it makes perfect sense that you could tell. Like, say, if you're inside a tent and you cut out with a knife or something, as you cut it through, you can imagine, it's just going to, flick and curve a bit, outwards when you push it through. It just makes sense to me that you could be able to tell if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah. There's people who do CSI shit, and they know what they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that crazy, but a lot of people, push back on that.
Yeah.
Get into it. There's a lot of pushback on a lot of things.
Yeah, this is a weird one. It's still not been solved.
No. There's been a recent investigation and new opinion put forward by Russia, but it's still, I'm like, no, makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Very easy to see. It doesn't make sense. We'll get to it. So everyone's personal belongings, including their shoes, were left behind, just in the camp, just abandoned. Skis were left protruding from the snow. This is one of the pictures you've seen a lot, where the skis sticking up, and there's a tent by it. That's just been ripped open and crumpled with snow on it and stuff.
Yeah.
The various things just left around the camp in general that were badly damaged. Just a lot of things. This is the most intriguing part to me, or one of the most. There were 9 sets of footprints in the snow leading out from the camp towards the tree line. Which is about 1.5 kilometers away. After about 500 meters, the footprints ended. I don't know where I got to it, but I don't know why I didn't type it there. But basically, the footprints were bare feet. There was no shoes or anything. They were just bare feet. You could obviously tell from the footprints. Just going off straight from the camp. The rescue party continued towards that tree line after where the footprints ended. Eventually got to the tree line, and they found the first of the 2 missing hikers. They found their bodies. Close by was the remnants of a small fire under a large tree that had branches broken up to 5 meters high, suggesting to investigators that someone had climbed up, presumably to look around.
Or to escape something.
Possibly.
Yeah.
The bodies of the 2 hikers... I'm not going to try and pronounce their names. They're long. I'm just not going to. I've written them down.
They're just long and Russian, and you're probably not pronouncing it right anyway.
I definitely ain't pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
There's no maybe about it. I ain't. The bodies of the 2 hikers were shoeless and dressed only in their underwear. So a lot of weirdness to that straight away, but not the craziest things, I will explain as you go, because both of them died from hypothermia, and you may be thinking, why are they naked? It's not the craziest thing in the world, because apparently something that happens when you have hypothermia, you go really warm. You
suddenly become really warm. You think you're warm, but in fact, it's your core temperature is reducing to virtually nothing, so everything feels warm to you. Yeah, it's not great.
So it makes sense that they could have flung them off and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, but then. Why did they leave the tent and they were already shoeless? Why?
Yeah.
But more into that soon. After finding the bodies, the rescue team would continue to search for the other hikers. They would find 3 more bodies in the space between the camp and the tree line. And there was 3 more there at different points, hence why they didn't just find a pile the first time round.
Yeah.
The positions of them all suggested to the investigators at the time that they were on their way back to the camp. They were also believed to have died from hypothermia at the time. The one guy had a small crack in his skull, but it was not thought to be a fatal wound.
Still,
yeah,
it's not nice, is it?
And where they got, and it doesn't say if they're clothed or not. Actually, I never really saw that. It doesn't really make much of a point of them. I know the next guys, because the 4 remaining hikers were not found until May, over 2 months later. They were found buried under 4 feet of snow, about 75 feet into the forest that the tree line was at, basically. Like near like the bottom of some hill or something, but under 4 feet of snow, so not the most snow, but enough, you know,
that you're not going to find them easy. Yeah,
exactly, yeah, and nothing, because nothing would be able to get to them and stuff. These bodies were dressed more appropriately for the weather, though. They were wearing some of the clothes that the naked hikers had been wearing, so they were wearing the clothes the other hikers weren't wearing anymore. While one of them died from hypothermia, one of the 4, the other 3 actually died from fatal injuries. One had major skull damage, while the 2 others had major chest fractures. The weirdest part about that, though, is that there was none whatsoever any external damage to the parts of the body in regards to them. So the crushed chest and that, there was no cuts, no damage to the skin, nothing.
Yeah, like something had just pressed incredibly hard on it almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
No impact, just a gentle crush.
It seems so, yeah. Gentle. Well, a lot more than 4 feet of snow, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The investigators.
I mean, you're talking like bear level stuff, but bears have to put weight on to do that. That's an impact. They're not just sitting on you.
That's more than a bear, like, surely. Like, I don't even know how a bear would, just from sitting on you, not so much, because I know it's comparable, they said, to about a car hitting you.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Like the bear would have to sort of stamp down on you, and if it did that, you would definitely see the imprint, and also the claws of the bear, things like that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. None whatsoever. You see something,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's very strange, I thought, especially more so than anything. They were damaged in other ways, despite being buried in the snow. All 4 had general soft tissue damage to the faces. But nothing major, though, apart from the fact that one of them was missing their tongue. One of them. Was missing,
I forgot about that.
There's more. One of them was missing their eyes, and I forget who was who in this, but basically, one missing part of their lips, chunks of facial tissue, fragments of their skull bone. Another was missing his eyeballs, and another was missing his eyebrows.
Yeah,
which is very weird. The eyebrows, especially. There was no sign of anybody else.
That's specific.
Yeah, very. It's just strange. Like a lot of the time, you'd imagine like that it would have been something to do with like little animals in the area or something eating them, but
but not that specific.
No, and the eyebrows, like what? And they were buried under 4 feet of snow. I don't think many animals swim through snow and eat frozen
not only
bodies.
That, but also the tongue is a weird one because, like, when you die, if you die with your mouth shut, it rigor mortis, and you're not opening it again. That's it. It's closed. Nothing's getting inside there to get to your fucking tongue.
I think a lot of them did say that they were post-mortem, but at the same time, it's like, how do you tell, really? Even now, it's hard to tell. And back then, 1959, you know, like 2 months of them being buried under 4 feet of snow. I can't imagine it's the best conditions.
Yeah, no, it's not healthy. It's not good for the investigation. You know, you're not going to go through it and go, like, oh yeah, no, we figured out easily what the problem was. It's just this. No, you can't. You can't study a body that's been under that fucking ice for that fucking long.
I mean, there's a lot of theories that we'll get into, but there was no sign of any other people around anywhere, no other prints, no other signs of just anything anywhere. There was nothing. No signs of anyone else. But especially strange is that the whole area, the bodies, and especially the clothes, were shown to be radioactive too.
Yep.
Oh, what the fuck?
Weirdly radioactive.
Yeah. I mean, fuck knows. Like the theories, yeah, some of them make sense, some stuff doesn't make sense. It's just so strange.
Weird. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that people have put the Dytalov Pass down to. Now, are you sort of at the stage where we can start discussing that, or do you?
Yeah. That's horrific now. So, like, in
yeah,
regards
yeah,
to what
yeah,
happened,
yeah.
So, yeah.
So, like, from what I've seen in various places, some people put it down to like a Yeti type creature.
Yeah.
Some people put it down to wildlife like bears. Some people put it down to some form of psychosis amongst the people involved in the Dytalov Pass incident. And some people, straight up say, well, it could have been aliens. Because, there's a lot of stuff there that looks like, oh, we're harvesting this bit to see what it does, and we're doing seeing what this bit does, and we're putting them under these weird tests and things, and like maybe that, but at the same time, like, are these aliens going around there and sort of tearing the tents apart afterwards to make it look right?
I mean, with the alien ones as well, there is something that I found particularly kind of interesting, because when I first heard that, I was like, alien, what the hell? Why would it be aliens? Just none of that makes why. Just why? Once again, as we already asked, why? But apparently there was something going on in the area where there was a lot of flying spheres that were glowing, and that they were reported in the area, and the head investigator that was looking into them was told to close it down by the government. But at the same time, it's like, what's that really happening then at the same time? Is it being conflated? Is it just going to be made up to cover something else up?
Yeah.
I don't even
reckon
I reckon it's probably just more just not even a purposely covered up thing. If the alien stuff, if they're saying it's probably just more the person himself doing it rather than the government. It's like, yeah, get some attention. Yeah, they covered it up. There was all this stuff going on at the time. It's definitely around then.
Yeah. It's always been aliens. It's just it's aliens. Yeah, I'll tell you what about it. Ask whatever you do about the giant radioactive man who goes around taking other people's faces and turning it into his own face. Okay, don't think about that, because it's aliens. All right.
Who can fly? So he's not. He didn't walk there.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah, that's the messed up thing. It's like, what happened to make people like the most likely, the most logical is that one person of that group did something really fucked up, or two people went fucking insane because there's two naked fuckers out there, and the other guys decided to fucking take their shit and run away.
I think the others might have been naked as well, the way it was written.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was just the four that had all the clothes, so there was like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, there was five that were naked, I think.
Oh, yeah.
At least three, anyway, yeah.
So maybe something terrible has happened, or there's been sort of something weird about one half of the group, and they're all doing, getting involved in something that the others don't want to be involved in. They've just decided, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
They've taken all of their supplies to try and ensure that they're going to survive, because they think that they're the only ones who are going to survive or something like that. And that's left the other ones out there, and they've decided to run out. One of them's got up in the tree to try and find where the others are. They eventually see where they are. They go after them and they fucking mutilate them. But of course, by the time they get back, they're already fucking frozen and they die. That's logical, but it doesn't explain the radiation. It doesn't explain the torn up tents. It doesn't explain, like, the weirdly specific mutilation. It's not like just aggression at someone. So it's not like someone's just trying to kill someone.
Yeah. Which ones would it have been that killed the others then in that idea? Because I know what you mean. Like, I thought about that as well. Like the whole, like, maybe like mushrooms or something. They tripped out and it made one of them go crazy.
What I'm thinking is that they got caught in a bad situation. Four of them decided we're the ones who are going to survive, so we're going to take everything and leave. And we're going to leave these fuckers to die. And then the fuckers who were left to die with their sort of naked shit decided, fuck you fuckers, if you're going to fucking leave us and take the shit, we're going to kill you. You see what I mean? That's
There's a lot of stuff that really, even like with that as well, though, because it makes it's like the whole idea of maybe there wasn't anyone else there or nothing else there. It was just something to do with the 9 of them because there was no other footprints. A lot of that makes sense. But then it's like, at the same time as well, it's like, why were they cutting themselves out of the tent? That doesn't make sense in any manner. Why you would cut yourself out of the tent.
Yeah, and also why the specific mutilation, as I say, like the eyebrows, the eyes, the tongue, like that shit is very specific. It is not something that normal people do.
There was apparently some tribe, like kind of in the area, but not too in the area, that they were looking into and interrogated to see if there were anything to do with it. But apparently, like I said, that there was like no sign of anyone else going there or anything, no footprints or anything.
And also, they're not radioactive.
Yeah, and it just didn't. Yeah, and it just didn't fit in either to the way, like, to their style, or none of it fits basically. So like, no.
Yeah.
Surprising they didn't try and push it on them. To be fair.
See, it's weird because a lot of these like strange things happening involve a degree of background radiation for some reason. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but we've had that happen on multiple things before, where it's been like, we're not entirely sure what's happened here, but there's been an increase in background radiation. It's like, well, what is that mechanism? What is going on there? You know what I mean? And it's really interesting. And I know this is all like high.
We've had it,
we've had in the sky thinking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But I was just going to say, we've had it with like, from what I remember, the Yoga Nuke and Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch. There was another one as well. I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, I feel like there's another one as well, but I can't remember. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you sort of go, well, if there's weird shit going on, like that's a pretty logical way for stuff to be detected, because radiation it's fucking everywhere, and like
and from what you said before as well, I suppose it depends on what type of radiation too.
Alpha, beta, gamma,
But there's also like the idea of like, let's say for example, like just to look at each theory as well, like just to see, like aliens, for example, possibly them landing and with whatever stuff these type of aliens may have used, they could like leave radioactive signatures around, and they might.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they might not show like a landing or walking around or anything, because they just don't do that, or they hover or anything along.
Well, they're sending a drone. They're sending some kind of drone with a radioactive engine of some kind that sort of bathes the area around it in a faint degree of gamma radiation or whatever it is, and But
I mean, there's still stuff then that doesn't make sense as well.
But even then, like, why would they rip open the tents? Why would they do the mutilations? Why would they? Yeah, it's.
Well, I mean, the mutilation could be to cover themselves up, but then it's like the aliens maybe. But then they were also covered in 4 feet of snow, which could have happened afterwards, I guess. Could have been snowed on, because it was Russia and you get a lot of snow up there. It still, though, it just seems a bit convenient, and it's like, well, why wouldn't they put the shoes on?
Yeah.
I mean, if aliens land, you'd say you wouldn't just be a sudden like boom outside. And even if there was a sudden boom outside, why would you think I'm not going to put my shoes on? What's out there.
People tend to sort of get dressed even in the worst scenarios. Like,
if you walk out there, you're going to get you would die. Like, however long you're out there, even if you're out there for a moment, like you are not going to do well. But even being out there for like 10 seconds with no shoes on.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense in any manner.
It doesn't. None of it makes sense at all. And the thing that sort of really confuses me every time is just, why would 4 people leave the rest of the group?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they take all the shit to go with them? Like, the only reason, unless it's the previous one that I said, where it's just like, fuck these people, we're going to take the shit and we're going to leave them to die. Like, where the only other reason why you would leave those people behind is because they were already dead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But
Like,
looking at it as well, you got the camp, and then you have the, where they found the first two bodies that were naked, with the fire and the tree, and stuff. And then they found the other three in that area, in between the camp and the tree line that we're talking about. But then past that tree line is where they found the other ones. So I'm just trying to think how that would work with. Because they were on the way back to the camp, and the other guys are further away, so they would have either had... Yeah, it doesn't make that much sense. They would have either had to
doesn't make any sense.
Take their clothes, and then they would have ran off back towards the camp to try and get warm, but died on the way, maybe.
Yeah, but
that
then why wouldn't they have just taken... Yeah, but also, if those people who are being left behind and have come over to kill those people, if they've come over and kills those people, why wouldn't they just put the clothes back on the people that they've just killed?
Well, no, I mean... The last ones, the ones that were found like however many months later, they were the ones wearing the clothes. Yeah, so they could have killed them, and then the other ones are running back all naked. Like, we need to get warm in our tent. But someone still left the tent with no shoes.
That's what I'm saying, though. If those people were, I'm still going by the assumption that those naked people would have gone after those people and tried to kill them. But if they did do that, then why wouldn't they put those clothes on immediately? But also,
you're going about the naked people killed the ones that were found like 2 months later. Okay, yeah.
Or that, it's either that or the other way around, and they tried to kill them. But then why would those people have been able to wander around naked afterwards?
And who killed who then as well? Like, you know what I mean? Like, in that case, there should be one survivor or something. But then you've got 5 who died from hypothermia, all without clothes, from what I've gathered. And then you've got the other ones that died after being attacked by something. Or, sorry, it died in regards to, I don't know what you know what I'm saying? Like, it was some kind of fatal wound, some kind of fatal injury that killed them.
Yeah, I mean, especially, that's the thing as well. We're forgetting about the crushed chest. It's like someone can logically do the lips and the eyes and the eyebrows. Like, that is all can be done with scalpels and shit. But no one out there can just gently cave someone's chest in.
It just, that part is another bit that just kills so many of the theories. Like, do you know what the main theory is, like, in Russia and stuff with this? What they decided...
I've forgotten what the official thing is.
One at a time, and they opened a new one over 2019 and 2020, which I didn't realise about.
I saw an I Fucking Love Science article on it. It was quite interesting.
Oh, I only saw it recently. This is what made me think about it again. And it was like, they decided, basically, long story short, they decided it was an avalanche. I mean, no. Look at it for a second. We'll look at it.
If there's an avalanche, all of that fucking shit would have been crushed.
Let's go with the pros first. Okay. So what kind of shows that it could be an avalanche? Like, I've got some here. It's a simple, natural explanation. It's a very few things that doesn't hold a lot of, like paranormal stuff or stuff that's hard to believe for some people. It's a cleaner explanation for them. A large avalanche, I don't know if it would explain the fractures with the pressure, but once again, I'd expect external damages. I'd expect, from what they said, it wouldn't be crushed.
If it's an avalanche, the tents wouldn't be standing, and they wouldn't be ripped. They'd just be flattened. So you're right, exactly. There's not really much more you can say in regards to the pros. Like, you're right with the cons. Stupid.
Like,
and also, again,
the protruding
avalanches aren't radioactive. And avalanches aren't. And the skis sticking up. They wouldn't have stuck up if there was a fucking avalanche.
They're the most famous photos that you always see. Like, I'll get it in a sec, actually, because I have saved it. I just forgot to upload it onto this. It's the most famous photo you always see, and that just blatantly shows, like, just these things sticking out of the ground, and it's like, well, they would have definitely fell if there was a freaking avalanche. Either that or it was a weak ass avalanche, but it couldn't have been a weak avalanche because it needs to be super strong, apparently, to it's not there. What the hell?
To have got through to them, to have knocked them all down, to have frozen them, to crush them. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what what crushed them and then suddenly melted whilst they were underneath 4 feet of snow? So that the big boulder of snow that hit them in the chest and crushed them, which by the way would have caused impact damage quite clearly.
This is the thing,
What is going on? This is
And
total nonsense.
apparently there was no general sign of an avalanche, because you would see a pile of snow somewhere. There would be something.
You'd see trees getting knocked down. There'd be brush and stuff in the
Not
frozen
this.
snow that had been. Yeah, exactly.
Like, yes, there's some snow on the top bit, sure, okay.
Oh, and those 2 flimsy fucking those skis. Those are just standing there quite happily. They wouldn't have been knocked over by a fucking. Are you kidding me?
It's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Because skis aren't even that long, so there's not
only
like
that, but look at it.
there's not even
look
that
at the
much
snow on
in
top
there.
of it. Let's take another thing. Let's look at the snow on top of it. It's crumpled up and messed up and messed about. It is not the smooth blanket of snow you would get after an avalanche.
Yeah. And if that's the avalanche, it's tiny, why would they come out of there without their shoes on and run away to let themselves die? Do you know what I mean? That's all the snow that was on there. It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Look, and also, talking of smooth snow, look at the snow behind it. That is smooth as a baby's arse. Now look at the snow in front of you. As I say, crumpled up, messed up. Something has happened there. Like some kind of commotion has happened around that. Clearly. Quite clearly.
That could have been them getting to it and walking around like the rest of
I think that's possible, but for some reason I doubt it. Because again, if these people are coming to actually research this and find out what's going on,
to investigate,
if they're worth their salt at all, they will investigate it by taking photos to begin with of everything in its location and then move on from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Russia's efficient. It's corrupt, but it's definitely efficient. Like, they'd have all the details. It's just we wouldn't ever get to see it.
Exactly.
But no, it's just literally, it's hard to even say things against it because it just makes so little sense. Yeah. So hard to even argue against.
But again, it's one of those ones where it feels very much like a Russian thing, kind of around Chernobyl, where, you know what I mean? It's like, well, if we don't mention that there's a problem, then there isn't a problem.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like.
How far is let me just check again the distance from where it was from the camp, because I remember thinking that I didn't think it was that far away, but I'm not very good in general with like distances and that. So it was about 500 meters walking towards the tree line that it ended, and the actual thing was about it was about 1,000 meters away, something like that.
Fucking hell.
I don't know how far that would be. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
It's a kilometer. It's a kilometer. It's about 2/3 of a mile.
Yeah. The tree line was 1.5 kilometers away. Sorry, the tree line was 1.5 kilometers away. So how long is that, did you say?
That's about a mile. 1.5 kilometers is about a mile.
I mean, is that far enough?
I think it's like 1.67 or something like that to a mile. I can't be sure.
Obviously, if you haven't got clothes on, it's far enough to die. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
But once again, they would have got to the tree line and would have had to have started coming back, despite the fact that they had a fire at the tree line to stop them from getting cold, and they would have had a fire at the camp as well.
And also, they're surrounded by trees. They have literally all the fucking heat they could ever need.
Yeah. And
if you've already got a fire started and you're next to trees, you're fine.
Maybe something happened near the tree line where they attacked them, stole their clothes, and they left. But they all died from hypothermia, though. They didn't die from being attacked. Them ones, so
that's interesting. So let's assume that they're all gathered around the fire, right?
At the tree line.
At the tree line.
Yeah.
And then something happens. Now, could it be an animal attack or something like that? Something scares the shit out of some of them. Some of them, maybe only the ones who were clothed were at the tree line, and the other ones were at the
three that were in the
tents. We're in the tents.
Oh, to begin with, yeah.
Yeah. So say we've got the 5 who were found basically naked are in the tents.
Okay.
And you've got the 4 who are out there at the fire on lookout, basically. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Hence why there was the thing up the tree as well, because that's what you'd be doing. I don't know what you'd be looking out for.
Don't know.
But at the same time, they're in the middle of their experienced wilderness hikers. You could just be checking for animals, or you might have heard something, saw a UFO.
Well, this is the thing. If they've got sort of wolves or something like that as an issue in the area, they're going to have to keep an eye out, if you see what I mean.
But it's still strange though, like 1.5
but
kilometers
why
away.
why does someone also rip open the fucking tent?
And then why, like, because I'm assuming you'd be talking about then, like, them 5 would have left and gone towards them. Something would have happened.
They would have left.
Even would have run back, died on the way.
Yeah. But even then, again, if it's wolves or animals, you don't end up with people taking people's fucking eyebrows off. This is so weird.
And then you don't end up with like crushing things and stuff. You don't end up with
the crushed chest. You don't end up with the fucking tongue being removed. You don't end up with fucking.
I'm happy to ignore the radioactivity just because it's Russia and stuff's happened over there.
Yeah. And they're probably all just drinking Chernobyl vodka.
I just don't like trust that as much just because it was 1959 too. But even without that, even ignoring that, nothing about it makes sense still anyway. Like, the only other like theory.
It's almost so weird that it seems almost like it had to have been entirely staged to cover up something even more insane. You know what I mean?
Staged in the sense that, in what sense?
So, like something even weirder or nastier or more clandestine happened to these people.
Yeah.
And the Russian government have basically set up a crime scene to make it unplausible and difficult to understand, specifically that people will not be able to ask the right questions.
I don't know how you would do that though, because there's still just the 9 that were there, like the evidence of the 9 that were there. I mean, I suppose they could. I don't know. It's hard to do. I mean, I suppose though, there's no link to the ones that were in the camp to the ones that were there because they said the footprints ended, so it could have easily been someone else's footprints, I guess. You know what I mean? But it's still weird. It's really strange, like why they would do that and not just make them be missing. Why they would do any of that?
Yeah, that's the thing. You just go, oh well, these people went missing in the thing. You don't need to mention it at all.
Just make them lost.
Yeah, fuck me. This is so weird, man.
There's one theory that we haven't covered yet, which I don't know if I'd say it holds a lot of ground, but it would make sense. That it was some type of Russian military weapon that was being tested at the time, some type of something, could explain the radioactivity, could explain why the government's trying to cover it up. But at the same time, like I said, it's not the best way to cover it up, really. Sort of drawing attention to the area. But
not only that, but also it's again like, what kind of weapon does that?
Could have been something that like is more of like an hallucinogenic and makes them go a bit crazy, possibly.
That's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible that they could have been hallucinating on some form of something. I mean, that would explain why someone would be hacking at the sides of the tent. Maybe they would have thought, something was trying to get at them from outside.
That's one thing I've always thought of when it comes to the tent thing. I've always been stuck in that, and I've always thought, what would make you do that? And that's the only thing to me.
Well, that or there being something outside it trying to attack you, and you're trying to stab back. But even then, that wouldn't happen in every tent. That would happen in one tent.
I don't know if it happened in every tent. I don't know how many tents there were, to be fair.
I don't know, yeah. I think it was like 1 or 2, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But either way, though, I mean, if someone was trying to attack into the tent and it didn't make any damage, and the only damage was caused by your knife sticking out, then you're probably a lot more dangerous than whatever's attacking. I mean, there's like 9 of you as well.
Yeah, and
there'd be footprints. There would be evidence of that.
Yeah, there'd be. That's what I was thinking. There'd be footprints, and there'd be blood as well. If you managed to hit something from the stabbing, or even if something attacked you, there would be blood there. There'd be evidence of that, and there isn't. That's the other weird thing. There's no evidence of blood.
Yeah, exactly. Because
I
thought it would stay for longer, being with it being like a frozen area and that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if it sort of mostly disappears, there'll be traces on the people's clothes, and the tent itself, and there'd be just loads of it.
Well, it could be like some kind of radioactive weapon, though, and that's what the traces all are, which is why the whole area is like it. But at the same time, there's also the fact that there's no evidence of craters. There's no evidence of, like scorch marks around. No evidence whatsoever of any kind of blast, any kind of anything. And people argue, well, what if it blasted like above? Didn't actually hit the floor. And it's like, well, like the whole Tunguska event thing, like 1909, that was like that blew up just like quite a lot over the top off the floor.
But the airburst, and it just wiped out huge areas of forest.
There was plenty of evidence for that, and something a lot smaller, you'd still see something. Basically, you'd see something. There would always be something there, especially when it's just a load of water that's frozen a bit essentially underneath you.
It's so weird because every so often I'll end up thinking of the Dytalov Pass again.
Yeah,
whether it be an article or something like that, and you sort of go through it and you go, I will have to figure it out this time, and you just don't. You never can. No matter how many times I try, I've never been able to sort of come up with something that I feel is a logical answer to this fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's kind of annoying too, because you want to look at it and normally you can come up with some semblance of, well, it's probably this. It's fun to think it's this, but it's probably this.
Whereas it's probably this simple solution, but there is no simple solution.
There's really not. I mean, obviously the most simple one that people like to go with the government, and that, like I said, which is why they like it, it's nice and clean, is it's an avalanche. But sure.
So it doesn't fucking work. It just
doesn't work.
Lamest of lame excuses.
It
doesn't work.
Yeah.
No.
Even if you say, okay, maybe the radioactivity wasn't there, maybe the snow was the avalanche, even though there's no evidence of this avalanche, maybe it was huge, maybe it crushed them. But then why was there only 4 feet of snow on top of them?
And why did only one person get crushed?
3.
Yeah, but why did only one person get crushed? Why did only one person have their chest caved in?
Oh, yeah.
When the others just had like lips taken off. Yeah, because avalanches are so precise at taking like pieces of people's bodies out.
There was 3 that were killed from it. One had the chest caved in and crushed. The others had the skull like caved in and crushed, basically.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Just with a lot of force. But yeah, I mean, like you said, an avalanche doesn't do the extra bits of ripping off the skin. It doesn't. Yeah. It was gonna force some kind of squash with that amount of force comparable to a car crash. You would imagine there'd be a lot of snow left over, not 4 feet on top of you. A lot more than 4 feet.
See some trees taken down as well. Because that's a fucking car crash into a tree. Have you seen what happens when a car hits a tree? Both get fucked up.
And just saying about it now, we just brought it straight back again, and it's like, but does the camp? That doesn't make any sense. And if it maybe we'll say the avalanche didn't hit the camp, okay, the avalanche didn't hit the camp. So why did it kill them all? Why did they cut themselves out of the tent? Why was there bare footprints leaving the tent?
Yeah.
If the avalanche didn't hit, the avalanche either hit the camp and it just wasn't an avalanche, or the avalanche hit somewhere else and they went. It just maybe they were high and an avalanche.
Sense.
And a Yeti who was an alien. And
had a radioactive cannon.
Yeah. The only one I'm willing to completely say I do not buy at all is the Yeti. The Yeti one, I don't buy that.
I don't buy that at all.
Because
it just doesn't make any sense. Like there's no reason why something like that would do that. If you look into actual like Yetis and Sasquatch kind of stuff, none of them mention that they're radioactive, that they like to chop people's bits up, and they like to freeze people to death and steal their clothes. None of that shit happens.
Out of their way to cover up their tracks afterwards.
Yeah, no, exactly. Stupid.
I mean, if they did regularly cover up their tracks afterwards, I suppose we wouldn't know about this. But I don't see it happening, really.
No, I don't.
I mean, I don't know what I'd buy. It's weird that aliens or a secret government weapon are the most viable explanations for this.
Yeah.
Which is very strange.
Yeah.
Okay, now we've had a few weird things on this one.
That's where we are.
There was something earlier that we were like, I can't remember what it was now. We were talking about it, and it was like, so this is actually this. What the hell? For once.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was now, but.
Yeah. We'll remember at some point.
There was something.
There's so many episodes of this to watch, people. You better be watching. It's good shit.
There's some good shit on here.
Yeah.
I'm liking doing these very much so, man. Like, I just love doing this kind of shit as well. It's just a good chat each time. There's so much fucking, and there's never an end to this kind of crap as well. Like this.
No, there's always a more interesting story to get for. You know, like it gets more and more mad each time.
I don't know about you, but I go through different fads. Like for a bit, I'll like true crime, then for a bit, I'll like conspiracies, then for a bit, I'll like unsolved mysteries or like survival stories. But then very quickly, I'll go back to like conspiracies or true crime, and then float along them all. But they're all connected.
It's so much fun just being able to be given license to talk about interesting shit, if you know what I mean. Because like there's so many things where it's just like, you know, a lot of podcasts are great, and that, you know, some of them are better than others, but a lot of them just seem to be, oh well, we're just going to have a conversation. It's like, nah, man. I want something interesting. I want something cool. And it's like, we give you the conversation, and then we add on top this extra chunk of like, this shit's mad as all fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, sir.
Yeah.
What podcasts have you been listening to more lately? Because I've been, I was listening to Bad Friends more, but I've been listening a lot more to Flagrant 2 lately.
Interesting. See, I've been listening to a lot of Ari Shafir's Skeptic Tank.
I didn't know he did one.
Yeah. It's
could
good.
Be interesting.
He got yeah, he is, but he's also legitimately funny and has like one of the most interesting lives. Because like during the whole COVID thing, because he's not got a girlfriend, like or wife or kids or anything like that, so he just went, well, all of America's in lockdown, I'm gonna go to Peru.
Okay.
And he just sort of fucked around Peru for a bit and enjoyed himself there, and went to Brazil and all these other places, and you know, like that to me is the goal. That's the goal, is to become so good in comedy that you just like, I kind of just want to fuck off for 3 months and go see a fucking country. I'm gonna go do that. That is the raddest fucking thing in the world, man. That's so fucking cool.
That'd be cool. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to necessarily do that and also have like no family or no anything.
But it's not that he's not got no family. You know, he's still got friends and stuff like that and all that.
Well, like, he's not got as many as he did.
No, he's not got as many as he did. But like that was all.
Have as many.
That was only because of the fucking stupid fucking Kobe Bryant shit, and fuck them.
Not just that as well. There was the birth thing as well.
Oh well, but
you know,
at the same time,
and
I know it's not okay. I know it's not okay for Ari Shafir to put MDMA into Bert Kreischer's drink without Bert Kreischer's knowledge. But at the same time, if that happened to me, I would fucking love it. What a day that would be.
Yeah, but not if you were like, you know, about to go and have dinner
not if you're Bert with
stuff in the house.
Yeah, that's sort of the problem. Yeah,
I get all that side of it, like with the whole. When I was like living with the kids, someone would have done that to me. Oh, like I'd have been a mess for the first couple of days. I'd been so angry after that, though. I'd have been out for blood.
Well, yeah, obviously, and don't get me wrong. Like
before that, that'd have been fine back in the day.
Is it acceptable?
Free drugs.
Yeah, but is it acceptable? No, it's not acceptable. Is it kind of funny? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. Especially with it being Bert, like, you know, he was the machine. He's all these stories of being in Russia doing his crazy shit.
And I'm a Kreischer, and this is how the story of how I joined the Russian mafia.
You know what? To me, Ari Shafir just comes across, if anything, like he's just a bit of either a sociopath or a psychopath. But once again, I say this as in, it's not necessarily means they're a bad person. It just means they don't understand emotions as much. They're not as clued in and keyed into like what social cues and all that, and what, you know, like with the Kobe Bryant tweets and all that, for example. But I think he just likes pissing people off too.
That's exactly it, actually, because like the thing with Ari Shafir is he's got the sort of the solid thing in his head of everything's okay to laugh about or nothing's okay to laugh about.
Yeah,
You know, he is a comedian and he is doing everything he can to be funny as fuck in any way that he can, and he will just keep going for it. And like he's the big proponent of, like, if a comedian says something on stage that isn't like perfect and, you know, gets him in trouble, it's like, well, that's sort of his job. His job is to try and push the boundary to get you to laugh. Sometimes you're going to push over that mark by trying to be funny, and that just fucking happens. And some people don't get that, and that's fine. If you don't get it, comedy isn't for you. But you know,
no. You saying that just completely reminded me of something I was going to mention earlier. Do you know Tony Hinchcliffe, comedian?
Yeah.
Have you heard that he's the next one in trouble now?
What for this time?
I was watching the Flagrant 2 podcast, and that's what I saw it on there. They were talking about it. And I like them because they were saying, for example, like some of the stuff they talk about and the way they talk on Flagrant 2, I'm like, how are you not banned? Like the stuff that they say. Like any of the stuff we've worried about, like stuff we've said in the past, is nothing compared to what they say every time, constantly. So God knows, but they're very fair. Like I forgot my original fucking point now. With this whole thing, they were that was it. They were saying about how, like, you know, everything in comedy should be able to make a joke about it, but at the same time, don't just say you're never going to apologize for something. If you do something and you think it wasn't good, or you're just sorry about how it came out, even because you didn't intend it that way or whatever, if you just feel bad about it because you upset someone because you know you did it bad, then you can apologize to them.
That's fine. But only if you feel that you should apologize. If you've done something and it's like, oh well, that's not actually that big of a deal, then fuck them. But if you have done something and it was an accident and it has come out and it's something that was genuinely sort of offended someone, and you're like, nah, actually, now you've explained that to me, I can understand why that's not cool. I won't do it again. I'm sorry. That's wonderful to hear. That is one of the things that human beings are based on, is learning from mistakes. And if you can't learn from your mistake because suddenly you're cancelled and everything's over, then fucking what is the point?
Yeah. You know? It's like with prison, and you might as well, like, you go to prison for an example, for a reason. Sorry, like the idea is you're
you're going to be rehabilitated.
When you come out. It's like, if you're not going to be really any chance of being rehabilitated, then you might as well just kill them. It's basically what it's like with cancel culture and that.
Exactly, and it's so stupid because you lose really good comedians and really good artists.
Anything not just comedy.
And you know, it's a detriment to everyone at that point, especially when it's for something that really isn't that fucking bad. You know?
Yeah, I mean, this Tony Hinchcliffe thing, once again, it's not even that bad, really. Like, but more so, it's surprising considering who moaned about it and that, and who put it out there. But it's for some racial slurs against, like, Chinese people, I think, generally. It says Asian people because in America they refer to them as Asian people. Obviously, different from us over here.
It's the Stop Asian Hate thing that has been going on in,
which is why
quite a lot of places.
Got a lot more traction, they were saying. But at the same time, though, it was basically this Chinese. I think it was Chinese. Might have been Korean. I'm not sure. I don't know him too well. I can't remember his name. But his name did sound Korean, actually. Like Pong something. He was like a warm up for, like, Tony Hinchcliffe, and he introduced him on. There's like a little video of it. He introduced him on, and he walked up and he just started randomly saying, I get a load of that. I don't even want to say the word. CHINK, you know. Look at that one.
Why?
He's Woody Awful and all that kind of stuff, you know. He just kept saying a few
Tony.
He shut up. It was only like a couple of lines, and he shut up and carried on. But,
but that's the thing. Like, he should know better than that. Come on, Tony.
He said as soon as he did it, he was like, "Oh God, you know, what did I just say then?"
Yeah.
But the weird thing was, though, that it was the comedian that was recording it. Like, they were friends and stuff. They'd known each other and that. Like, they worked together for a long time and stuff too. And he was the one that put it out, the comedian, which was just very strange. Yeah. I thought anyway, because there's normally that code of, like, with comedians, like, just go and talk to them. If you didn't like
that doesn't exist anymore, though.
Put them out like that.
Yeah.
Especially if you know the guy and you know he's a apparently, like they were all saying, because it was even like the Indian dude at Flagrant 2, Cash Singh, I think it is his name. Like he was saying, like they both know Tony, like, and he's just not like that, which is why they thought it was shocking that he said that.
Yeah,
but he did just say it in a way that I'm just trying to be a bit funny, push it a bit, and but oh no, they didn't. Well, it worked in the room, to be fair, but you know, it's like just a dumb fucking move. Like,
there's certain things that you just try your best never to say. And the thing is, again, like,
it's just, why would you ever do that?
I don't know, but in a lot of ways, it's more difficult to not say these things than you think. Like, and I don't mean that as in like, oh well, it's really hard to not say the N word or to not say the C word or to not say the, you know, it is legitimately fairly easy to not say that stuff.
Yeah,
but occasionally, just in your fucking head. It's called an intrusive thought. Something will come out of your fucking head instantly. And as a comedian, you're trying to get that think it, say it barrier to an absolute minimum, to the point where you think of something that's funny and you say it straight away. Because if you don't, you miss your opportunity to say it. So in that scenario, if you get a sudden intrusive thought of this, you know, that word, and then suddenly, boom, it's out of your mouth, and you don't realize that you've even sort of got that far, you're fucked. You are fucked. You're done. And that's sort of an impossible place to work from.
Which is, it's a crazy thing, because it's like, that's always gonna kind of be there. Like, you have those intrusive thoughts, like you said, like just random shit, like
horrible shit sometimes.
Like you walk past your dog. It's like, I love my dog, but what would it be like if I just stood on his back legs right now?
Yeah. It will just come in your head, and you're not gonna act on it. But
well,
like,
some people do, and then we talk about them on here. But
exactly. But as I say, like. It's a different thing entirely when it comes to just words, and like you can tell where the intent comes from. You can tell if someone really genuinely doesn't like a group of people. You know, I've met people before who genuinely hate people who are from Indian descent and things like that. They will use every word.
They are out there.
You will hear horrendous things being said about people.
A lot of times they don't even seem to know why they dislike them as well, which is hilarious when you hear them talk about it. Like, they don't know why, they just do.
Yeah, because they're both hard working and stealing all the jobs, and also at the same time, taking all the benefits, and at the same time, they're making delicious food, but at the same time they don't want their culture in this country. It's like, well, which one do you fucking want?
Don't fucking come into our country, but leave the fucking food, because I love
the delicious food, and keep working in the restaurants because I can't cook it. Like, fucking
it's like America. It's just, they always say with that, like, like we was talking about earlier, and I'm watching Fargo at the moment, and that's making a big point of like the some of like the wars that have gone on, some of like the more domestic stuff that's been going on, like in regards to, this is was it Italians, and I don't know what they are, like the Italian mafia, and then there's like this like group of black people too. I don't know what they're called. I don't even know the names or anything, what they're based on.
There's Crips and Bloods.
No, it's not that. This is more like gangster time in the 50s and that.
Oh, okay.
The smartly dressed gangsters and all that kind of stuff. Chris Rock is the main one, for example, the head gangster on that side, which is weird seeing him that. It works.
Yeah, I like Chris Rock. He's sort of underrated now. There was a time when Chris Rock was sort of the word in comedy. Everyone knew about Chris Rock. But he's sort of slowly become just sort of this, from what I can tell, this sort of not elderly, but this sort of statesman of comedy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Well, like, everyone just sort of looks up to Chris Rock, and it's like, oh yeah, Chris Rock. Yeah, Chris Rock did some shit, man.
But the old man of comedy now.
Terror. Yeah. And like, his most recent special was okay, but it felt like Chris Rock. It felt like the same Chris Rock as back in the day when he was doing his old stuff.
Yeah.
But a little bit slower, maybe a little bit more thoughtful, but you know,
Not
it's
so,
an
like,
interesting stand-up special. It's really worth watching, but like, you know,
but all that kind of stuff is like kind of crazy when you think about that America is like supposed to be this country of like immigrants. That's what it's based on. You know, it was just Britain to begin with anyway, but then it's just supposed to be based on a place where anyone can go to and live the American dream and that. But then it's just so filled on all this kind of stuff as well. It's such a weird contradiction to itself.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the moment, like, you know, give us your tired, your huddled, your yearning masses, you're begging to be free. Like, that's literally written on the Statue of Liberty as you come into New York Harbor. That is
what's written
that
on
was
it?
the creed. That was the creed that they had for a while, of just like, if you want to come to America and work hard to live the American dream, then you can goddamn well do it. But now it's don't you dare come into our country, you filthy people. Why do you want our money?
Yeah.
And it's like, for fuck's
Bear in
sake,
mind,
man,
France
I
was
want
the one
to
that put that
live
on the
there.
statue. France
Yeah,
put that
but
on the statue.
Yeah, it's true, but it was sort of the origin point of what America stood for.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it's like, I would love to just be able to go there and work there and do some really cool comedy there and shit like that. That would be the fucking ultimate dream.
Yeah, I understand that.
But
it's just now, like I said before, and it's like, you know, everywhere's doing well, not everywhere's, all about like the Western places, I guess the best way to put it, like the richer places are getting a grip of it all now. But it's hard to base it on. I think the next year with America could really change my opinion on it again and make me a bit more pro-America in regards, because I always wanted to move there too. I wanted to do the same kind of stuff you were saying, but all this was like, just in regards to how they dealt with it all and everything that's happened, just everything.
Yeah, but you got to remember, a lot of that was Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah, a hell of a lot of that was Trump.
The next year,
like, have you noticed how nice it has been just for this past year to just, or not even a full year yet, but just to not see on the news the president has said something, or the president has done something, or President Trump has.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I never have to hear about that orange moron again in my life.
Well, don't go that far. He's still talking about running again in the future.
Yeah, but he's so fucking pathetic, and I am so sick of hearing about it. I'm so glad that he is just not there at the moment, so I just don't have to think about what Donald Trump has done.
He's completely fell off the grid now, which is cool, but crazy as well.
Did you see the video? Did you see the video of him at Mar-a-Lago? So there's someone having a wedding. It's his own golf resort that he's built, and hotel and stuff like that. Right, that's where he spent most of his time as president as well, obviously. Because he's fucking Donald Trump. But like, what was I saying?
The video of place.
Someone was having a wedding, and like, he comes up on, like, he goes, okay, I'll do a little bit of a conversation. I'll do a speech for the bride and groom. So we need to get these immigrants out of the country. You know, we need to build that wall. You know, crooked Hillary, like literally going through it all as if it was a campaign speech. It's like, dude, this is their wedding. What are you doing?
I can imagine it. Just him thinking that him popping up somewhere just means that everyone loves him. Everyone wants to hear what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's just used to it now and going to be crazy.
He's never heard anyone say that he's shit to his face. And that is a huge problem. You can't have someone like that in power.
Well, thank God he's not now, man. But I don't know what's more sad, though, him doing all that kind of stuff, or a lot of the late night hosts that are still trying to push this stuff, like Stephen Colbert apparently was on this thing I watched. What's it called again? Now The Rising is like that little morning news show, but it's a lot more like actual newsy, like actual stuff. Like they were on the Joe Rogan podcast for people to do it, for example. And they were just talking about how he like recently did a thing where he was like asking people to send in alternative names for the former president of the United States, and he's like, "Why are you even trying to push this still for now? It's done." Like, it's done.
That's
it was like 5 months ago. Why? Yeah, and they were terrible as well.
That was, he got so much money and so much notice from just doing Trump bit after Trump bit after Trump bit.
Colbert,
I think Stephen Colbert sort of has lost any other subject to talk about, really.
God,
John Oliver,
God.
a little bit like that. Yeah. But John Oliver, a little bit like that as well. But John Oliver he's got other things to talk about, and he's genuinely funny in a lot of ways. While Stephen Colbert always felt like a bit of a news guy who was kind of funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, bits. I never really understood it. There was bits and dabs of him that I found funny, but it's like there's bits and dabs of anyone that I find funny. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You see him enough.
At the end of the day, I'd much rather sit down and watch an episode of Real Time with Bill Maher than fucking Stephen Colbert Report.
I don't think I've ever watched that, to be fair, Bill Maher.
I really enjoy it because it is actually political debate and discourse. Like, he does do the jokes and the new rules and stuff like that, but he genuinely gets people in and has a conversation with them. Like, he had a conversation with Steve Bannon 1-to-1. He had a conversation with, he was the guy who ran Breitbart just after Trump had been brought into power, and he was doing all the propaganda for him and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
He was involved in the White House and stuff like that. Yeah, he's just a
like Joe
genuinely
Rogan, people that you might not necessarily have heard of, but they're fucking interesting normally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's that kind of thing, and like Bill Maher, I enjoy watching, and I know not everyone likes Bill Maher, and I know he's a sort of divisive character, but that's kind of why I like him, because he's not trying to be overly woke, he's not trying to be overly this, that, or the other. He's just trying to be Bill Maher. And he's got his opinion on things, and he's not going to hide his opinion on things, but he's also going to let people come in and talk about what their opinion is as well. Because that's the thing about Stephen Colbert and John
Oliver,
is that they don't really give the other side an opportunity to state their piece. Whilst Real Time with Bill Maher does. Like, they have a roundtable discussion on Bill Maher. They have extra time on Real Maher.
Another thing people complain about Rogan for too, because he gives the other side like their platform to be able to talk about their stuff.
But
that's good.
That's it sort of needs to happen.
Definitely.
And if something's ridiculous, then it can be proved ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of scenarios, unfortunately, especially with the Joe Rogan podcast at the moment, to do with the vaccines and stuff, where he's been on the wrong side of shit. But that's his opinion. He's allowed to think that, and
it's annoying even when it goes against what you think, and the basic evidence as well, and the stuff him saying not really making that much sense. Like about, I remember one thing I saw was about him saying, what was it again now? So why do you need to get vaccinated if you're not going out and seeing these people anyway? And if you do go out, why do you need a passport if we're vaccinated or something? It was just like, what the hell are we talking about? It's not forever anyways, it's just for now.
And also the vaccine passport thing is so ridiculous. People going, I'm not having a vaccine passport, you're not giving me an extra bit of identification. It's literally just a slip to say I've had an injection. Injection. Off you go.
I think there's different versions of it. They haven't really got the full version yet from what I've seen.
Yeah.
They're on about
even if they do, it's
not going to be there forever either.
Yeah,
like it's just there for now until you're over the last little bit of it. Like, chill, calm down, people. It's fine. Let's just do it.
And again, it's not going to be like biometric. It's not going to have your fingerprint on it and shit like that. It's just going to have a picture of you and saying yes, they've been vaccinated.
And even if it had your fingerprint on it, who cares?
You've got a fucking driving license.
Location.
Yeah. But these people have got driving licenses, they've got birth certificates, they've got phones with all their fingerprints on it connected to various fucking things. All the shit, but no, I can't possibly have a vaccine passport. That is offensive. That's fascism. What are you talking about?
I would need a passport to go to other countries, but yeah. Even though, as long as they actually like enforce it properly, though, because a lot of these things get put in place and they're not enforced properly. But as long as they actually make sure they're enforced properly by giving out plenty of, like penalties if they don't. It's the only way. Harsh penalties if they're not followed.
Carrot and stick.
Yeah.
The carrot is that you can get out and do shit again. The stick is if you do it wrong, we'll smack you.
Seems fair. It's not there forever, man. There was something else I was going to say then. They've gone out of my head completely. But it's not going to be there forever. So it's just do it now at the same time. Get it done with. I think we're almost
get
there
your
now.
vaccines. Get yourself sorted. we'll see you on the other side for a live quiz off, a live one of these maybe. Definitely
cool.
live stand-up comedy. We're doing it all, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be a lot
It's going
more
to be
coming
a
out.
year of comedy, so get down with it. It's going to be a whole year of post-apocalyptic metal treehouse coming at you. Then I'm going to be working on trying to animate the bad boy. Yeah, bros. Yeah.
It'll be good. Like the whole next year, I've got a lot of ideas that I'm going to do, and I'll bring you guys all in for it and stuff, of course, as well. And some like little... Yeah, obviously I'm not going to go into it, but the gig I'm trying to put together at the moment, so hopefully more on that soon too.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be doing some of the I'm definitely going to be doing the sort of the short YouTube videos as well, where it's just stoners talking shit in the back of a car.
Yeah. That's a very good idea.
And they're only going to be about 5 or 10 minutes long each, so it's about a day's worth of filming, so I can invite someone over on a day when they're free, and off we go.
Yeah, I'm more than happy anytime to do that.
It's gonna be sick.
I'm more than happy to just say hi, let alone putting the camera on too. It's even better. I love playing up to a camera. Something I've learned. I like playing up to a camera, or when people are just looking at you. It's fun. Yeah.
It's like, have you ever seen that video of Rick Mail at I think it was the Grand National or something, and there's just a picture of him. And he's just sitting there staring at something over in the corner. Sorry?
The guy from Bottom?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and he's just sitting there looking at something over in the distance, and then he looks over his shoulder and he sees a camera, like... like that kind of shit, because it's Rick fucking Mail.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he can't help but mug to the camera because it's funny as fuck, and he's Rick fucking Mail, and that is why that man is my champion.
I think that's why I'm always going to make sure I'm going to do that as well. What you were saying, I'm going to record every gig. I'm going to make sure I watch it too. Like, get over the weirdness of watching it, because I'm over the weirdness of listening to myself. I'm over the weirdness. I used to watch myself, like, every gig we used to watch back after we'd finished when we did music, like as a band, and I would watch it back together. And it always helps. So I'm going to start doing that as well now.
I always used to listen back to the set when I was driving back. The first thing I'd do was set up, when I remembered, is record it in my pocket, start the set, get back into the car on the way back home, play that through, listen to it, go like, okay, I need to sort that, I need to sort that, I need to sort that, I need to sort that.
Yeah.
And then just switch over to something else, burn one down on the way home, and enjoy myself. The cigarette. Burn a cigarette down on the way home.
Yeah. Which is exactly what I'm going to be doing in a second myself.
Yes.
This is a cigarette.
Yeah. Yes. It's a cigarette.
But, so this Wednesday coming up then, which will still be this Wednesday after this has come out. This has been coming out like Friday or Saturday, something like that. Will be then JJ's, KD's comedian quiz off number 34 with myself on contestants row, Mr. Daniel Innes of Alternative Cobra Meeting comedy quiz, and just Sheffield comedy in general. Leanne Easthope of various Labrina with Leanne and Day Talk. That right? Yeah. And John
also
Morris,
setting up our own open mic. Not just open mic, but I think actually maybe semi-professional shows as well.
I know she's doing that thing with Griffin Simon.
She will be announcing some really cool stuff soon.
She's doing that thing with Griffin Simon announced not that long ago.
Oh yeah, she's doing that as well. Yeah, she's doing the Bristol thing, but she's also setting up an actual a comedy night somewhere as well. So yeah.
How do people get all these availabilities to do all these things in one go?
Because they're hardcore. We're part of the hardcore too, though.
No, it's always there though. If you can keep pounding and try and find it, so it's cool that other people are trying to do a lot more stuff as well now. Like, that's what we need for the comedy scene to keep building. Everyone putting things on.
Yeah. Everyone keep working at it. Keep making more. Keep being funny.
And of course, John Morris as well from Late Stage Comedy.
Hell yeah.
And I think, that's everything from my side. And then just remind everyone again about what you've got out now.
Right, so it's right there up on the screen. It's post-apocalyptic metal tree house. Okay, it's got a big tentacle monster on it. In episode 4, it's dead. In episode 5, it's going to be bleeding all over the floor and bubbling. So it's going to be a fun thing to watch. But the show itself is pretty fucking insane. I write it myself, I direct it myself, I produce it myself, and I play all of the characters, including the women.
It's 2021.
Strange.
It's 2021.
Yeah.
You can be whoever you want to be.
Goddamn right, I am gender fluid. So if you want to, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, fuck.
Carry on. He's
No.
gender fluid.
He's very gender fluid. So yeah, if you want to listen to Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse episode 5, along with the remastered episode 1 and everything in between, you can hear it on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. Did I mention Spotify? It's on Spotify too. So check it out, give it a listen, give it a like. I'm almost certain you'll enjoy it. The amount of time it takes to make an episode, it fucking well better be good.
Try and get like another like mini clip as well, or something like a shorter one than before, and I'll put it on.
Yeah.
I can put it on this, and I can also put it on the quiz as well on Wednesday.
Yeah. I'll try and find one that's appropriate. The problem is most of the sketches end up being at least 3 minutes.
Yeah, it just needs to be like a part of a sketch. So you don't need the full thing, just a little bit to make.
I'll find a chunk.
Yeah, you don't want the full thing anyway because you want them to think about like, I want to hear the rest of that or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like I've made notes all the way through as we were talking about what we talked about at different points for all the intros and that. So I've got time codes now. I'm gonna cut like little clips and stuff, like of the original chat.
That's smart and that's thinking ahead.
Yeah.
That's
It only took 28 episodes to get there, but you know
what they say: prior planning prevents piss poor performance. The 5 Ps.
I've never heard that before, but it makes sense because organisation and looking into those things is not something I do.
It's actually
not something that's
natural.
natural.
I should have prepared that better.
Nah, preparation. You need to be a scout. Be a better scout, Nathan.
Yeah, always be prepared.
Unlike the fucking guys at Dytalov, that place is pass.
Dytalov Pass.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah,
I will never understand never understand what has happened there. Anything else?
We're never ever going to know what happened there because, quite frankly, there is no logical solution. It's almost as if 3 or 4 separate things all happened at the same time for no connected reason. That is the only way it makes sense, and yet it doesn't.
Yeah.
Dytalov Pass is a fucked up place to go.
The only thing that does make sense just nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense, Carl. Nothing makes sense.
Nothing literally makes sense. I think the only thing that could viably be an explanation for it all is that whatever killed them with comedy.
Yeah. Hey!
That's all it was there, and that's the end. So thank you, everybody. Much love. Peace out.
Cheers, guys. Good night.